Welcome to the Getting to the Root of It podcast, where our mission is to unearth the power and potential of the CBD hemp wellness industry. Grab a seat as we root out the myths from the marketing and discover the science-backed benefits of this popular plant medicine. Hosts Bob Finnegan and Sarah Nilsson shoot it to you straight to help you make educated choices regarding hemp-based wellness.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Getting to the Root of It with Sarah and Bob. I am particularly excited about today's episode, but before we get right into it, Bob, I feel like I haven't chatted with you forever. How are you?
I know. It's like two lost strangers, but glad to be here. Super excited about today's guest as well.
Yes. I know that, we do these quite often, but for sometimes in between, it feels like such a long time. And here we go, getting to the root of it already for the new year. Excited.
Indeed.
So we have a special guest with us today, Jenni Byrd Grier, and she has achieved her goal to work side by side with her father. Jenni is a transformational speaker, personal development coach, and next level achievement expert. As president of the Byrd Group, Jenni is committed to providing achievement and personal growth for all clients. Before joining the Byrd Group, Jenni served as director of customer experience and marketing at Duke Energy in Charlotte, North Carolina. And during her 13 years at Duke Energy, Jenni completed the Duke Energy University of Chapel Hill Strategic Leadership Program and the Charlotte Leadership Program. That is a mouthful. Jenni grew up in Waco, Texas, and attended the University of South Carolina, where she graduated magna cum laude with a Bachelor of Business Administration, Marketing and Management degree. Then she went on to receive her Master of International Business Studies at the University of South Carolina. And Jenni is now located in North Carolina with her husband, Rob, and their 2 kids. Wow, that's
huge.
Impressive. Way to go. Overachiever there. I love it.
Needless to say, you're well accomplished.
So it goes to say that she knows a little something about leadership. Okay, so you've come to the right place. How are you, Jenni? Thanks for joining us.
I am good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with you guys.
Yes. I said a mouthful there, but maybe you could kind of like trim it down to some layman's terms. Tell us a little bit about kind of how you got into this industry of coaching. Sounds like you started with marketing and parlayed your way into the whole leadership development side of things. What did that look like for you?
Well, really, I spent about 17 years in corporate America, and, corporate America was really good to me. I learned a lot. I was climbing the ladder, but there was always this little part of me inside that was like, is this really what I'm called to do? Is there more to my soul's purpose in life? And my dad and I had talked about doing business together since I was a little girl, but we had never really made like concrete plans. And I'll never forget it. One day he called me and, he had kind of actually gone a little bit into retirement and then we thought he'd kind of be a one-man show, but his business kind of kept growing. And he called me one day and he said, Jen, I need to expand. I can either expand with you or somebody else. And I'm like, I'm in. And I really, it was a big leap, going from that steady corporate job. I took this leap into the entrepreneurship world, but it has been such a blessing because I feel like I am doing now exactly what I was put on this earth to do. And that is to help people achieve and grow. And it's been great because I get to use all that corporate experience. And then what I really love doing is, workshops, retreats, one-on-one coaching, and really just helping people figure out how do they reach their next level in life, personally and professionally.
First, I got to commend you for that, because how many people find themselves in this corporate world, whether they like their job or not, right? But it's maybe not fulfilling, like you mentioned, your life's purpose, but they don't really think that they have a way out. Or if they have a way out, they don't commit to the process and actually take the leap. So was that kind of a scary
it's called
move
the
for you
golden
at the time?
handcuffs, so to speak, right?
Yes,
those paychecks
absolutely.
keep coming every Friday. It's unnerving.
It was it was scary and exciting all at the same time. But I think I was a when I can coach people and people come to me about being stressed out, I know what that means. I mean, I was living a super stressed out corporate executive life. I had 2 small kids at home. I was leaving for work at 7 a.m., coming home at 6:30 or 7 p.m., sometimes traveling every other week. And then when I was home, I really wasn't even in the present moment. My mind was somewhere else. And I think it was combined. It was kind of that I knew I had to change something because I wasn't living the life I wanted to live. So sometimes it does take those aha moments to make you take that leap, right? And so I think that's why I think my husband was really nervous. He was like, "Are you serious? Do you really want to do this?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm done. You can go get the corporate job. I'm out of here." So, but now, as you know, with entrepreneurships, it's there's ups and downs always in business and entrepreneurship. But I feel like now, like when I want to make a change with the business, let's just say I want to make a change on the website. What is so empowering is I actually just get to go do it. I don't have to have like 4 meetings and 5 committees to get it approved to change a paragraph on a website. Like, so that part of the entrepreneurship has been really empowering for me. So I have loved being in business with my father and the whole entrepreneurship and small business, because I feel like if you work really hard, you can really feel and see the direct impact more immediately than you can when you're in that corporate lifestyle.
No doubt.
I'm sitting here thinking like how much you learn about yourself in this time, when you make a decision like that, and then you have to follow through with it, right? Then you have to build it into something that's sustainable and, brings you everything you need. But what kind of a role, like your own, the way you view yourself, your own thoughts and your own mindset really plays in that, because, if you don't, first of all, have the vision and then believe that you can achieve it and then set, the intention and the roadmap to do it, then you're just sort of, stuck, right? So tell us a little bit about, that journey for you as far as mentally and how you've used that to help coach your clients.
Yeah, I really like to say, whatever I coach, I can never promise I'm perfect at it, but I can always promise you I'm really practicing it. So that practice your own preaching, I say that to myself a lot, right? But it really all started, I'll make this a short story, but my oldest daughter, we discovered that she had sensory processing disorder. Now that's something that, causes your nervous system to get really overloaded. And we discovered it when she was younger, and that was a journey within itself. But really, I was working with this amazing occupational therapist, and I was saying, okay, what do I do when she has these meltdowns? And this occupational therapist asked me a question that literally changed my life. And this is kind of what set me off on this trajectory all around mindset, is she said, "Jenni, I have an important question to ask you." She said, "What are you thinking when she has those meltdowns?" Well, I was like, "Do you want to know the truth?" Because I was really embarrassed to admit it, right? I think nobody loves their children more than their mother. But, I was really had to come to terms with, okay, what am I thinking? And I said, well, I don't say any of that to her. And she says, it doesn't matter. She said, on a subconscious level, that's what she's feeling. And she said, the next time you go home and she has a meltdown, she said, I just want you to stand there with your eyes open. Don't do anything different. And she said, I just want you to picture her as the cutest baby you can remember. And I was like, okay, whatever. I left that office going, okay, this is a bunch of woo-woo. This isn't going to work. And anyway, I get home and, when you're at your wit's end, you'll try anything. And I tried it. And I'm not kidding you, this had never happened. Within 5 minutes, my daughter had not only had just calmed herself down, which that had never happened. She ran over to me and hugged me in the middle of this meltdown. Like the meltdown stopped. She calmed herself down. She ran over to me and said, I love you. And that might sound so simple, but in that moment, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to dedicate my life to this, because I discovered in that moment, I've always grown up knowing my thoughts impact me. My dad taught me that. I grew up around positive thinking. But in that moment, I discovered that my thoughts and feelings not only impact myself, they have the ability to impact the actions of others. And so it was in that moment that I was like, I'm dedicating my life to this. I'm going to figure out the science behind it. I'm going to demystify the woo-woo. And I'm going to teach others this because this is powerful. This could impact your personal life, your professional life. And that's really what set me on this course of not just coaching, but really like the power of your thoughts and how those impact yourself, but also have an impact, how they impact others, and how you can actually, you really can transform your world when you transform your thoughts.
There's a lot of parents out there right now that are like, wait, what? All I got to do is picture my kids just enjoying dinner and cleaning up after themselves and loving each other.
I don't feel that way.
Yeah, I can't tell you, though. I will say there's a part of me when I did that experiment, I'll call it. I mean, there was a part of me that played the victim that I was like, seriously, like this is all it took? Like, of course, all along. I mean, we were doing a lot of other things to help her on her journey. But I can't tell you how many parents I've taught that simple thing to. And I'm like, just know, your children and anybody, your teammate, your coworker, they're feeling your feelings just as, they're listening to your words, but they're reading your energy way more than they're listening to your words. And I can't tell you how many parents will come back to me and they'll be like, oh my gosh, Jenni, I tried it and it was amazing. Like, it totally changed the dynamics of the situation. So I can't say it happens every time, but I get so many stories back from that. And then that translates into business as well, right? So like, what are you thinking about? Like if you're in sales and you want to go close the big deal, what are you actually thinking when you walk into that situation? Or I coached, a good friend of mine was going in for an interview and I really coached her into, okay, so what are you thinking? I want you to walk into that interview feeling as if you already have it, right? Because most of us, what do we do when we get nervous? We actually go in with like this nervous energy. So really coached her through how to do that. And this is really funny. They were interviewing like 5 people. She was the third one they interviewed. At the end of her interview, they said to her, we don't know what it is, but we just have this amazing feeling about you that we know we already want to offer you the job. So can you just step over here? Because we're like done. We're not going to interview anybody else.
What? That's amazing.
Yeah, and but the difference is on a subconscious level, people are, like I said, people are reading our energy way more than they're listening to our words. And so many times we focus on our words, but we're not thinking about how we feel. So to me, mindset, I think a lot of times people get thoughts, right? Like, okay, I need to work on my thoughts, but we forget our feelings. And feelings, like, this, like, you can walk into a room. Let's say it's your home or an office environment where you know all the people and nobody has to say a word. And if something's wrong before anybody said anything. You're like, okay, what's wrong? What's going on? Like you feel it. So that's what I'm kind of talking about, that feeling. But when we can align our thoughts and our feelings with our actions, man, that's where magic shows up every time. But most people, people think about thoughts, and I hear this all the time. They'll say to me, okay, Jenni, I've tried affirmations. Like, have y'all ever tried affirmations? Like, I am successful. And you say this like 30 days in a row, like, I am successful. I am successful. I am successful. And after like 30 days, you're like, forget this. This is not working.
Where's all that success I was talking about?
Where is all that success? I'm saying this to myself every day. I'm looking in the mirror. But you know what happens? We say the affirmation, but then we immediately go back into our day with fear and doubt and worry. So now we have to not only say the affirmation, we have to live in the feeling as if what we want has already happened. So we have to live in the feeling of, okay, if you really were successful, like if you wanted to say, I'm successful, how would you feel if you were successful? Well, maybe you'd feel confident, or maybe you'd feel relief. And then the point is, okay, then we've got to teach our body what our future feels like. Because otherwise, we're just living by our emotions of the past. And when we live by our emotions of the past, our past becomes our future. So if we want our future to be different than our past, then we have to say, you know what, if I want to be successful, then I've actually got to start living in the feelings of success right now. I can't wait for success to happen to start feeling successful. Right. I've actually got to start feeling it today. And that's what's actually going to help bring that. I mean, obviously with actions too. I'm a big person. I don't believe we can just sit back and feel it and say affirmations and it's all going to happen. You got to get into the right activity. But that's why I say if we can marry those three things, thoughts, feelings, and actions, it's powerful.
Isn't it interesting too how I think most people, we kind of just go along, reacting to whatever happens, right? We get up in the morning, we don't know, are we going to have a good day or a bad day? We maybe have our to-do list and then get thrown off, or something great happens and that puts us in a good mood or whatever. And we just kind of all just go through life in that reaction mode. And then we don't even realize that, what's going on in the subconscious, but also what we have control over, like that we can actually shift, like what you're saying, we can shift the way we really see ourselves, the things we really believe to be true, and, change the trajectory of whatever it is, finances, our relationships, our jobs, I don't think people really feel like they actually have that control.
No, we're on the roller coaster of emotions, right? Like you said, we are reactive creatures by nature, and we wake up and we go maybe from joyful to sad to mad to angry back to happy. We go through this plethora of emotions without awareness, right? And then at the end of the day, we're exhausted and we wonder why we're exhausted. But I say it's not as if we can't control all of our external circumstances, but yeah, we can. Believe it or not, we can control how we feel. I always tell people, nothing outside of you can cause a feeling inside of you without you first giving it permission. Now, that's a tough pill to swallow, but let's think about that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting. This is profound. This was profound to me at the time. I remember having this thought. I don't know why I went here or what caused me to kind of go down this rabbit hole. But here's what I thought. Why are some people afraid of spiders and some people aren't, right? It's the same creature. Some people, crawl all over me. I love it. I want one for a pet. Me, like if I see one in the corner, I'm burning the house down or for selling it, right? And it's because everything around us, and tell me if I'm on the right track, because maybe I'm just making this up, but I'm thinking everything around us is neutral until we assign a value to it. And it sounds like that's kind of what you're saying, that why one person could have a reaction to something could make someone so mad and someone could just like let it roll off their shoulders. Someone could be scared to death to public speak and some people like live for it. So it's like that. We get to decide, right? Based on what our experiences, our subconscious or, our expectations of ourselves. But how cool is it to think like, what I have like a real fear of spiders. So what if I just like literally told myself that I don't and just kind of believed that and acted in accordance, and then I could
You probably still would.
I mean, don't go buy me a tarantula, Bob. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, yeah, I mean, not, you know how masculine and tough I am. I actually have the same aversion, but I know very specifically why. Well, when I was young, I smacked this, spider, like I guess, kids do. And like a million little spiders came flying out of the back of this thing, and I don't think I can literally. I'm literally shaking right now. Like I can't even.
No,
but
see, Bob, you brought
my choice, on how I choose my attitude and choose the way I.
So Bob chooses to avoid spiders to avoid that.
I just want to reiterate, I choose to not be around spiders.
But Bob, you bring up a great point because you said when you were young, and here's what's crazy is they say that 90%, scientists say that 90% of the beliefs we have of ourselves, so good beliefs, the good stuff, the bad stuff, the limiting beliefs were formed before the age of 12. Now, there's a lot of science that goes back into that, and I won't dive into that. But, we are literally in subconscious brainwaves until the age of 12, which means even when we're awake and playing, until the age of 12, we're in subconscious brainwaves. Well, what are really subconscious brainwaves? So if you were to go to a hypnotist, right, today, if you went into a hypnotist, they're trying to put you into those subconscious brainwaves, most likely alpha or theta, to really get into your subconscious. So we're literally in subconscious brainwaves until the age of 12. So this means anything that happens to us before the age of 12 is getting deeply buried into our subconscious. And we have this tendency when these beliefs, good ones and limiting beliefs, right? So the good ones that we believe about ourselves and our limiting beliefs, they get buried deep into our subconscious. And then we just continue to play it out throughout the rest of our lives.
Like to reinforce it?
Right. Until we create awareness around it. And when we create awareness, we can kind of go, oh, okay, so I'm feeling this. I have this, Bob knows exactly why he has this fear of spiders, right? But I'll have so many clients call me, and they'll call me maybe about a specific business issue. Like, Jenni, I feel this is so unfair, or I feel that I'm not as good as somebody else, right? And we'll be talking about the specific business situation. And 9 times out of 10, I'll say like, okay, so let's talk about how this makes you feel. And they'll say, okay, it makes me feel as I'm not good enough. I'll say, okay, so is that a common theme in your childhood? And 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh my gosh, yes, I felt this and I felt it for these reasons. And I'll say, okay, this is great. It's not about, it's not this what's happening in the current situation is right or wrong. But when we can create awareness to why we feel that certain way, now that's when transformation happens. Because we all have this tendency to view current circumstances through the lens of past experiences. We all do it, right? Mm-hmm. That's why, Sarah, you and I, something like, or me and Bob, he's scared of the spider. I'm not. Well, a lot of it's because of his past experience. So he's viewing this new spider that if he goes and smashes it, a million other spiders are going to come out, and that's going to bring up really bad memories. So he's viewing that current circumstance, right, through the lens of the past experiences. We all do that. It's not bad.
Isn't he kind of like, isn't he like, if he's thinking about a spider, that's what, like he even said, I can still picture it. It's also, doesn't his body release the same chemicals that they did when that first happened? And it's almost like he's seeing it again, and like gives him those same motions.
Yeah. So it's, on a subconscious level, it takes him back to that experience of the spider when he was young. But it happens like,
let's just keep reliving it. I mean,
no, sorry. We'll switch. Okay, let's switch another example. We got to give another example other than Bob and the spider. Please? Yeah. But like people feeling like I'm not good enough, or I'm never going to be able to achieve this in life, or I'm not worthy of what I most deeply desire. 9 times out of 10, I can help a client take that back to the original belief. It doesn't mean we're going to change it, but it means we can create an awareness. And when we create awareness, guess what? Then we realize we have choice, right? When we have an awareness around something, then we have choice. And that's really powerful. I always say, real change begins with awareness, and awareness leads to choice. And then we get to ask ourselves, how am I going to choose?
It's interesting. We'll give a different example so we can get off the spider thing. But this was really true for me. So, without going into a long story, when I was younger, I had to have a conversation with my dad and tell him that I was dropping out of college. And by dropping out, I mean, I literally had one day in and I was dropping out. So more like not going, I guess, is a better way. Anyway, and I remember the conversation. I remember where I was. I remember, sitting across from him and disappointing him in the sense that, he'd saved my whole life to go to school, and I was, smart at school. I kind of everyone had these expectations of what I was going to do with my life. And for probably 10 years after that, everything that I did, I saw through that lens of, I don't want to disappoint my dad. I've disappointed my dad. I'm not living up to my potential. So everything, it drove me in all of my, things and in my career to be the best, to work hard, to work quick, to achieve, to not disappoint whoever was counting on me. Right. And interestingly, so it had been 10 years or so of living with this. I ended up doing some therapy and kind of drilling things back and why, and found out that the conversation that I had replayed in my head for 10 years with my dad literally never happened. Whoa. And I believed it so much. And he never once said he was disappointed in me. He didn't allude to it. He didn't feel that way. I made it all up and just ran with it for 10 years before I was able to let it go. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So we create these reels in our head and we kind of live them out. And And there's no judgment in that. The problem is so many times we judge our feelings, right? Oh, I'm feeling disappointed. And we judge that and we feel guilty over that and we judge it. But it's really about awareness. You know, like I think as humans on this journey, this human journey, the soul journey we're all on, we're going to feel all the emotions, and we should. We're going to get really angry. We're going to get really happy. We're going to get really sad. I mean, it's not that we're trying to avoid any of the emotions. The goal is to live in awareness of the emotions and then ask ourselves, okay, why am I feeling this? And what am I to learn from it? That's empowering.
Yeah.
So where do you suggest people start? So let's just say people are listening to this and they're like, oh, I have some issues. I got a couple things I could probably need to get on the couch about. No, but like literally, if someone's like thinking, wow, how do I learn about, you know, some of these practices, or what do you recommend for people that are stuck in some limiting beliefs? You know, what are the first things that you would say to start doing to help alleviate some of that?
Yeah.
And sort of how do you apply to the, you know, I guess you were saying, Jenny, like aligning your feelings and your thoughts and your actions, you know, that's a tall order. You know, where do you begin with that journey?
Yeah, I give a really simple answer. Like I say, I want people to begin with what I call the 1 minute challenge. I mean, anybody can do 1 minute. Anybody can do something for 1 minute. Now, for my analyticals out there, you don't have to time this. It doesn't really have to be 1 minute. It can be 30 seconds. It can be 2 minutes. You get the gist, right? But I say every day, wake up and make the choice. I want you to commit to this. I tell people commit to this for 30 days, right? So I'm asking for 30 minutes, total of 30 minutes in the next 30 days. And I laugh because you know, all of us, we've all wasted more time on social media than 30 minutes. Like we go onto social media saying, I'm going to check one thing. And the next thing you know, we're in the dead of winter and we're looking at patio furniture. And we're like, how did I end up on patio furniture? I wasn't even looking for patio furniture, right?
Hypothetically, Jenny, hypothetically.
Yes. I know. So 1 minute every day. And what you're going to do is I want you that morning to wake up and I want you to choose a feeling. Like maybe you say, okay, I want to experience gratitude, or I want to experience joy, or I want to experience peace. And what you do is we're going to teach your mind and your body how to experience a feeling without the event happening. Now I'm going to give you an example first to make this real. We do this all the time with negative emotions. Okay, so I want you to think about a time that somebody made you really mad. And a day later, a week later, sometimes a month later, you're retelling the story. And when you retell the story, you get mad all over again, right? I mean, you can feel your heart beating, your blood pressure boiling. You know, now that event didn't happen to you again, but just by retelling the story, you got angry all over again. Mm-hmm. So we've become experts at doing it with negative emotions. So if we can do it with negative emotions, can't we do it with positive ones too? So I just want you to choose a simple feeling, like let's say gratitude. Now, this doesn't mean you're going to live in gratitude all day long. I would love to tell y'all that I walked around all day long in love and joy. But my husband and kids can be the first to tell you that is not the case. The point is, though, saying, okay, in the morning, I'm going to choose gratitude. And what that does is I relive a moment in my life when I really felt gratitude. I recreate a past experience when I felt that feeling. And just by replaying that past experience, just like when you replay a bad one and you get mad again, replaying that one makes me go, oh yeah, that's what gratitude feels like. And it's not to say that I'm not going to get angry later in the day or somebody's not going to hurt my feelings, but when I get angry or I get mad or I get sad, I promise you I'm living in more awareness of my feelings. And I say, okay, in this moment, I have a choice. Am I going to go back to gratitude, or am I going to continue to feel angry? I get to choose. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll tell you an example. So like just a couple of months ago, I do this every morning. So a couple of months ago, I picked gratitude, right? So I get up 6 a.m., I pick gratitude. And then about not even an hour later, I'm in the kitchen with my husband and the girls, and we're trying to get them ready for school, get them out the door. So, I'm fixing breakfast. He's helping with fixing lunches, the chaos of the morning. Right. And in the middle of all this, like in our kitchen, when you open up the dishwasher, like it like blocks the rest of the kitchen. The flow just doesn't work if you open up the dishwasher, right? So in the middle of doing all of this, my husband opens the dishwasher and he starts unloading the dishwasher. Well, I can promise you, my first thought was not gratitude. My first thought was like, seriously, you're going to do this now? Like I'm in the middle of running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to, get breakfast, get lunches done. But I caught myself. I was like, Jenni, an hour ago, you chose gratitude. You have to choose in this moment. Now, I still said to my husband, hey, can you shut that and do that after we get the girls out the door? But I can promise you, I said it in a much nicer tone than I would have had I just reacted, right? Mm-hmm. Because I chose to say, you know what? I'm grateful that I have a husband that's going to unload the dishwasher. But what I was doing is, it's not that my first reaction was to get frustrated, right? So my first feeling was frustrated, but rather than just reacting to that frustration, I reminded myself that I just chose gratitude and I had to choose how I wanted to feel in that moment. So that's how it impacts you throughout your day when you choose this feeling and for 1 minute you recreate, you think about that feeling, you think about a time in the past when you felt that. You can do this when you're in the shower and the water's running over you. Sometimes I'm doing it when I'm, when I was driving my kids back from school and I'd just turn the music off. If it was a nice day out, I'll roll my windows down and, just kind of think about this. And you'll be amazed how it will bring so much more awareness to your feelings throughout the day.
Is it one of those things that once you kind of make a practice of it, then it becomes easier to remember or to stay focused on it? Does it work like that kind of?
Yeah. I mean, I have clients who,
in the beginning, you might have to force it.
Yes. My clients who commit to it for 30 days, I get the most amazing stories back from them of what's happened in their life by practicing this. I'm normally not a huge fan of Post-it notes, but this is one time I am. I'll say, you know what, take a Post-it note and write on it 1 minute challenge and slap it on your bathroom mirror so that every morning when you brush your teeth and every night when you brush your teeth, you see that and it will remind you to do it. You could even do it while you close your eyes and you're brushing your teeth, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like I said, you don't really have to set a timer for 1 minute. It's the concept of making that choice every day, saying, I'm going to choose how I want to feel today, and really starting to understand that nothing outside of me can cause a feeling inside of me without me first giving it permission. Now, that doesn't mean people are still going to make us upset, and it doesn't mean those people are right or wrong, but it's us choosing, am I going to let this external circumstance impact how I feel? Or am I going to choose to not let it impact how I feel?
Mm-hmm. That seems doable, right, Bob? I could do a 30-day challenge. Can you do a 30-day challenge?
I love a good challenge. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot like, I had to learn a little bit. I try to work out as much as I can, and a lot of it is not enjoyable. It is, it's too cold. I'm tired.
Check.
Exactly. It's too late. I want to eat a bag of chips. I would like to have a nice glass of wine. Whatever it is, there's always a reason. But when you do it, for me, I do it for my brain. It really, it helps me clear my head. It helps me think. And there's this little technology that's come out called the Peloton. So fancy, but
sponsored by
sponsored by Peloton, the first name in fitness. The Peloton has an app, and some of the instructors are really goofy and some of them are really hard and everywhere in between. But there's one gentleman who makes you recite this little speech, and it's about basically being grateful. Like, you need to be grateful for one part of your body, and you need to be grateful for what's in your mind, and you have to be saying that you're able to work out, and not that you have to work out. And trying to shift that mindset is some days impossible, but some days it feels really empowering and really great. Like you're doing something that no one else can do, or more than someone can do. It's such a hard shift sometimes, but if you can make that mental shift, you're halfway there. It makes your workout better, which makes you healthier, which makes you think better, which makes you want to do it again.
Right. And you get that positive reinforcement. Mm-hmm.
That's right. And then that decision became an action, which became a behavior, which became, a pattern or,
habit. Mm-hmm.
a habit. Right.
I know when I'm at Orange Theory that some of the instructors are really like, motivational. And I remember specifically one of them saying, remember why you came today? Why'd you show up? You didn't come here to just come here for, and it's like, I'm getting like teary eyed on the treadmill. Like, yes, I know. I got this.
I'm a champion.
I'm going to go sign up for a marathon. I've been running for like 90 seconds. It's like, but it's so true. Like what we feed ourselves, what we focus on, what choices we make in the spur of the moment, or, how we choose to react is all just plays such a big role in how we show up in life and quite honestly, how far we get and how successful we are. So I've really enjoyed this conversation. I love the 1 minute challenge. Hopefully our listeners will pick up on that and you'll have a bunch of people out there doing that. Jenny?
You don't have to, you get to.
Yeah,
the only
that's
person
right.
He says the only person you're in competition with is the person you were yesterday.
That's
Pain
right.
is only temporary.
Think about it. Get better every day. It's a long, long marathon. Get better every day. But great chat, Jenny.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I loved being with you guys.
Hey, so one thing we like to do with our guests is just ask you kind of a random fun fact about yourself before we let you go. Are you up for that?
I am up for it.
All right. So one of my favorite things to ask, because, you never know what somebody's going to say, is what would you say is your secret talent that most people probably don't know about you?
Okay, so my secret talent is probably I grew up a dancer. And so I danced all through, when I was young, danced all through college. Actually was really debating on, am I going to go try to dance professionally or go to grad school? I did go the grad school route. There was a part of me that wished I had two lives at that moment, that I could have gone and done both, but I went the grad school route. So I quit dance for a little while. And then when I had two little girls, when they were old enough, I got them back into dance so then I started teaching again. So I started, teaching dance again, ballet, tap, and jazz. And, I just kind of quit 2 years ago just to kind of take a break from it, but have loved it. And of course, dance did not stick with either one of my girls. Both of my girls are soccer players. So I'm a soccer mom, which I know nothing about soccer, but it's really fun. But that's probably my secret talent. I could, tap, ballet, and jazz is my secret talent.
Wow.
Oh, do you do it around the house? Like, do you just break out in like a Broadway?
No, probably. But I really always thought, oh my gosh, I have two girls. They're going to be dancers. This is going to be fabulous. Yeah. I think they each took one class and they made it through the semester. And after that, they were like, yeah, we're done. We don't want to do this. And I was like, so I didn't end up with any other dancers in my family, but that's okay. They're both soccer players and love it. So that's fun too.
Oh, that's funny.
Amazing.
Oh.
Amazing.
Well, that's great. And I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy lady, and thank you for coming and representing the Byrd Group and giving us some great insight and some things to think about as far as how we approach ourselves and what we can control as far as our mindset. I'm sure there's tons of research, that people can do if they want to dive into this subject, and hopefully we'll have you back again soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Loved being here.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. And come back and catch us again on the next episode of Getting to the Root of It. Until then, here's Bob and Sarah saying, be well.
Be well.
Be well.
Be well. Thank you for listening to Getting to the Root of It. If you enjoyed today's show, visit gettingtotherootpodcast.com to access information about our guests and to sign up for our newsletter. Be sure to rate and review us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.